Hey everyone, this time on Tim Talks Audio, we're checking out the latest plugin from our friends over at Help Me Devvon. This is the HMD Uncompressor. Hi, if it's your first time here, my name is Tim. I'm a recording and mixing engineer, and I want to make things easier for you. Today, we're checking out the Uncompressor. Very typically on this channel, we talk about how to compress, different kinds of compressors, and how the controls work. Today, we're going in the opposite sort of direction with the HMD Uncompressor. We've all been there. Sometimes you get something and it is just slammed. Especially in the hip-hop world, if you get a 2-track, that thing is usually limited to heck, and all of dynamics are gone, and really you're losing a lot of the energy. The Uncompressor can help with that, so let's check it out. Let's dive into the DAW. So here it is. This is the HMD Uncompressor. Once again, thanks to our friends over at HMD for sending this over. So this, obviously it looks really wonky and really weird initially, but this is two different tools. It is a compressor, as we can see on the left-hand side, and there's not a ton of controls. If we start pulling this down, we're going to start generally compressing our signal. But this is the uncompressor. Sometimes we get something that is too slammed, and we need to bring some of that life back in. So you can see if we drag up, we are now uncompressing. This is sort of a transient shaper style circuit. It has some of that in there, and it's a nice blend between the two, and we're definitely going to show this off. On the bottom, you have 3 different frequency range is. It's more so like it shifts where you're going to feel that uncompressed signal. Do you want it a little bit more on the warmer ends, the low mids? Go with warm. You want it to kind of cover the whole frequency spectrum? Sure, go with balanced. If you want to just kind of help the top come back out and get some of the snap from maybe your drums, like we're about to check in our examples, bright might be the way to go for you. The other controls, you have a link control up on top here. What this does is it links the left control with the right control. You can see it is now balancing. If I'm compressing more, it's going to bring that output up because I'm compressing that dynamic range. And then if I bring it up, I'm uncompressing, kind of opening things back up, and the output will come down to compensate for that. Let's put these back to normal. I held Option on a Mac, that'll be Alt on a PC, and I'm going to turn Link off. There's also a preset browser up top, but that's basically it. Your output slider on the right-hand side. That's all of the controls. Now let's get into how does this thing sound and what is it actually doing. I have 2 examples. They are on different types of loops, and the second example has more elements within the loop, like a bass kind of element. So we're definitely going to hear this happening on both just a straight up drum loop, like our first example we're about to get into, and our second. So let's get into those examples. Here is our first drum loop with nothing on it. You can hear it's a drum loop. It's a loop. So let's go ahead and do something ridiculous. Let's over-compress it on purpose. I'm just going to like slam this thing. I'm using just the very simple RComp from Waves. It doesn't matter. So check this out. It's only a 4-to-1 ratio. My attack's a little bit slower. This is really default settings, but I'm hitting it kind of hard. I want to reduce a lot of those peaks, and I also want to highlight what this is doing after we listen. So I'll start with it off and turn it back on to really slam this. So I'm choking the life out of this. Everything is now really stagnant. It's not like explosive. It's over compressed. It's lifeless now. So let's see what Uncompressor can do. You can see I have this as the second plugin in my chain, and right now I have it off. Earlier when I was messing around, I definitely went up with the Uncompress to bring some of this life back in, and I went with bright. We're going to do that same exact thing, but we'll start with balanced, and we'll start with the compress, uncompress slider right in the middle, and we'll do this in real time. Check this out. Are you hearing that? Listen for the snap of the drums and a little bit of that top end. It's starting to come back. We're starting to uncompress and get these transients back in. The first compressor is killing our transients. This is sort of bringing them back. Take another listen, and then on this playthrough, we're going to mess with warm, and we'll jump over to bright as well. So we're definitely hearing different things, and we're hearing that frequency spectrum, and those transients reflect that. So when we switch to warm, some of the punch and some of that real hit of the kick and the snare, we're now hitting through a bit more. I could feel the transient, I could hear it a little bit better, and it wasn't squashed and lifeless. When we jumped over to bright, the top end of the snare, the top end of the hats and the little shaker, those started coming up because, again, we're bringing the life back. Now let's jump to our second example. I'm going to close this version of Uncompressor, and here is, I made a bus for this loop. I'm going to go to it right now, and with everything off, here is our starting point. So you can hear there's a lot more elements in here. Big fat kick and snare. We've got a bass element in here now. There's effects. There's a lot of things going on. Let's just assume some things that this is all going into a bus, and it maybe is a beat that you got for a client who's coming in and you just want to do some vocals on top of it. So we were going to do that exact same thing. I have another just R comp. Again, I wanted to keep things simple, and I'm choking it again. Here it is. So I popped in and out of bypass on that one, just again, so you can hear how much it's choking things down and really compressing and not giving us the kind of fatness that we want. It's more so just squished and there's nothing left in it. Let's do the same thing. We're going to follow it up with Uncompressor, and let's do it again in real time. We'll start with balanced and we'll mess around with compress and uncompress. Here we go. I hope right at the end there you heard when we went from bright to balanced, a lot more of the shells of the drums within this loop really started to poke out and punch through a bit more. When we were down in warm, yeah, we were getting that same kind of thing, but balanced and bright were helping bring a lot of the life and the top end back from uncompression and uncompression? They're bringing the life back into this clearly overcompressed loop that now has more elements within it. So we're getting that punch back. We're getting the top end. We're getting excitement back in. And that's what Uncompressor can do for you. Now, we've just used Uncompressor on drums, but you can use this on all sorts of elements, including a full 2-track that somebody brings in and is just lifeless. It's got nothing to it. Throw Uncompressor on and bring some of that back in, or bring some of it out, depending on what you need. And then focus it. You need it just kind of everywhere, go with balanced. You need to just have some top-end excitement, bright might be the way to go. Or if you're missing some of that punch, maybe try warm. Once again, thank you to our friends over at HMD, Help Me Devvon, for sending over the Uncompressor and allowing us to check it out and share it with you guys. It is out right now. Use the link down in the description. If you can, jump over to their channel on Instagram, on YouTube, on all of the socials. Tell them Tim sent you and says hi. In the meantime, happy mixing, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.